And we're glad to welcome him to our broadcast location here. Coach, thanks so much for joining us, and glad to have you here.
Thanks. It's great to be here. I appreciate it. An old friend here. How are we doing this? Am I a coach, or are we colleagues?
What's that?
Are we colleagues, or
I'm in the
can
media.
I make fun of you? No.
I'm in the media. We're not colleagues. We're we're kind of like opposite. I'm trying to get great information out of you, and
you'll get nothing.
We just heard you in the press conference talk about that stretch where you go to Princeton. Obviously, it's your return. Everybody's rooting for you to do well. You get, basically rolled there and then rolled at Columbia, and then a week later you beat Columbia.
Right.
What did you say to your team during that
get
week?
Killed by Columbia. I don't know. I think we just were a little stunned by Princeton losing that badly, and then we had to go back and figure out what was working and what wasn't working as we played Columbia. They made a lot of shots at their place, and we sort of just had to get back to zero, and say, okay, we can hang with this team. That was, an anomaly, and this is what we're going to do to stop them. To try to stop them, this is what we're going to do to try to score, and just sort of get back to a calmness as you're sitting at 0-3 and looking at the standings and saying, I don't know if we can do this, but you don't tell your players that.
We've been talking about the youth movement in the Ivy League and how the league's gotten really good and really young, but you've got two juniors, upperclassmen, contributing in a big way, especially the way that you score the ball in Stone Gettings and Matt Morgan. How can you put them in the best position to succeed against Harvard?
Well, we need to move the ball. The two games, although they were both close, were a little bit different in sort of how we scored. So they're really good, and guys who like to score know how to score. And so Matt's one of the fastest players I've ever seen, and he can really make shots. And so they're trying to do things to take that away from him. And then Stone he gets the ball a lot for a big guy and can really score also. So we want to make sure that we don't make it about them just scoring, that they need to get our guys in the other guys some shots as well, that some easy layups, and then things will open up for them. So it's we'll see. It'll be a little bit of a chess match to see which way we're going to get that done. But we lean on them a lot, and then we have another junior, Steve Julian, who's I think a part of why we've been doing so well, because he plays really hard defense. He's long and athletic, and recently he's been able to figure out a way to get us some scores, and that wasn't necessarily happening at the beginning of the season.
And we talked a lot about Chris Lewis, obviously maybe the most dominant big guy in terms of down low in the league. How do you try to slow him down? I mean, is it a mix of Julian, Gettings, team defense? What are you going to throw at him?
I don't know. How much do you weigh now?
What's that?
How much do you weigh now?
Oh, I'm legally not allowed to.
He's like an NFL defensive tackle. It's a mystery.
Yeah,
I know that Lewis is stronger than me. That's all I know.
Yeah. That's the problem. You can't put on strength and height and pounds in the next day. So we're gonna do whatever it takes, I think, and so. We're not going to give up any schemes or anything like that, but just try to make things hard on him. And last game we didn't do a good job of it. He sort of scored his points, and our offense got us a little bit to the end line there. But I think we're going to throw whatever we have at that. And with that said, then you have the player of the year out there who can do damage from all different parts of the court, and so. We just we know who we are and we know what we have to do. It's just a matter of executing it, and he is obviously he's a force to be reckoned with, and only a sophomore, which is difficult for the future as well.
Yeah, we'll get you out of here on this, but how much confidence does your team have, given that both games against Harvard were really close?
Yeah, you know how much confidence I always have. I'm not the most. I'm never an optimist, but I think we're confident. We've been able to hang in there. We led for most of the first game, and I think they took away some of the things that we did that made us successful in that first game. And then the second game, we sort of figured out a way when those things were taken away to get back in it. And so there's no telling. I mean, it's going to be an enjoyable game, I hope. I hope it's going to be tight. I hope we figured out a couple different ways to again get across the finish line when we're up one with 17 seconds left up there. That how do you figure out a way to win? And so, I don't know. I think we just got to do our best at the end. You just sort of say it's worth it to give everything you got and see. If you miss shots, maybe you lose. If you get a couple stops, maybe you win. But it is what it is. Go out there, have fun, make sure you're you're proud of your effort, proud of what you've done for the university, and make other people proud of what you're doing for them. So that's what we're playing for. And beyond that, I hope we make a lot of shots.
Coach, thanks a lot. Best of luck this weekend.
All right, guys. Thanks.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck.
There he is, head coach Brian Earl of the Cornell Big Red.